Hello, everybody. Welcome to Level Up Circle TV and podcast. Well, guys, guess what? We have so many things happening at Level Up Academy, and this one is an extension of 50 Inspirational Connections. And I have so much that I've learned during this time that I pivoted and changed. This is its second year. And next year, again, we're going to do it starting June. And then, of course, July is when we announce who wins and then who gets accepted. And then August, it's going to be where all the videos from August, September, you're going to see all the videos that's happening. But today, we're going to talk about 50 inspirational connections, but also what does it mean to be an inspirational person? What does it mean, the word inspiration to you? Right. So this Monday, we were at a workshop. We met a billionaire basically, and he was talking about things about how he started his speaker journey, right? And we're talking about, a guy who used to work for Tony Robbins for a number of years, who is now working with him. He was 24, he became a millionaire at 27. He literally, had his 10 million dollars, and then he went from there. So we were kind of listening to his story. And I have a lot of lessons learned that I wanted to share with you today about human beings and communication. And what does it mean to be a leader? And what does it mean to command the room? And what does it mean to be inspired and be inspirational? So let's go ahead and start our show. All right. So, what does Level Up Academy do? In the first place, we do a lot of things, but first things first, this is my passion and my heart.
Are you a curious student, eager to learn new skills and make your mark in the world? Or are you a professional seeking to advance your career and unlock your full potential? You need to be equipped with effective soft skills like communication, problem solving, teamwork, and more. The Level Up Academy by Doc Leland bridges the gap between education and employment through transferable skills training. Get the soft skills you need to be more effective at work.
That's right. Soft skills. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So let me go over some of the things that's happening around my circle. First thing is Hounds of Business Community. The founder of Hounds Business Community is my brother from another Mr. Mike Asherbrenner. We're looking for ambassadors. We're always looking for ambassadors. And basically, you have to be a member for at least 3 months. You have to have the best conduct ever. Okay. That means P's and Q's, people. And you are talking about business, not personal stuff. Whatever you do in your personal time is your personal time. But if you are going to be talking about the people within our community, please stick to business. Okay. Show up for engagement. Right. That's what we're all about. Is we're looking for engagement. We're looking for feedback, and we're also looking for belonging. That's the thing that we want to make sure that we have in our circle is Do we feel like we belong, or is everybody else mean around you, right? Or rude or manipulative, right? Be a champion for others, because if you show up for other people will show up for you. So keep that in mind. I also have my Level Up Circle magazine coming up. So these are for the soul hearted people back then, but I have one that is transformative leaders coming up next week. It's actually coming out next week. So make sure you do that. These are the 50 inspirational connections, people that I've picked and chosen. Some of them actually are no longer in the program. Guys, it's a free program, right? So if you give me nonsense and attitude, I don't deal with it. I just let you go. It is a free program to elevate and expand your what? Your presence, your value. I use my platform, and when I give you the stats on my platform, it's not because I'm bragging, it's to inspire you, right? Two things that I want you to think about when I give you my stats is A, you want to be surrounded with successful people so you can also be successful. The goal is to be the same, if not more, right? Not to go down. I've never seen anybody have a goal like, oh, my goal today is to go down. No, your goal is to always level up. So why do you want to surround yourself with people who are not there yet? Because you want to help them, but also you want to help yourself level up. We're human beings, guys. We have to help each other, right? Collaboration over competition is what I always say. That doesn't mean that you're going to take people's negativity and crap either, right? You got to have that boundaries for yourself so you can show up for others. You can't show up for others if you're not showing up for yourself. And if you are listening to negative gossip, you got to let it go, because subconsciously you're carrying other people's baggage. You do not need other people's baggage. You have enough baggage on your own, right? Your brothers and sisters that you surround yourself can either make you or break you. Please make sure you're leveling up. I use my platform for my community, right? That is what I do because I love my community. However, some of my community members might not love me. I'm okay with that. So long as your mission, okay, is to level up our community, because I'm not for everybody and that's okay. But I'm still going to help you anyway. You know why? Because I'm not keeping score with human beings. I'm keeping score with the man above. I don't care what your religion is or spirituality is. I have mine and I will never push mine on yours. But my belief is to be kind, to be compassionate, to have empathy, to show care, to show love, right? That's what I want and that's what I stand for. So I want to surround with people like that, inspirational people. So we are going to talk about that today. We still are getting Rebel with a Cause. Remember, guys, we have a notebook. This is dedicated for our sister who lost her life in the summer, Jessica Harvey. So that notebook is dedicated for her. All proceeds goes to autism. And then, of course, our book Rebel with a Cause that just came out. That book goes to, all proceeds goes to what? Nonprofit for mental wellness. Because I'm not taking the money, I'm going to give it back to the community. Now, October 19th, okay, October 19th, here in San Diego, we have an in-person workshop, right? How to scale success through servant leadership. If you're already a successful C-suite, we're looking for people who already have leadership skills, who already are doing it, but they just want to scale up more, right? For visibility, for strategy, for wealth. How do you do it? I'm surrounded by both United States Marine officers, okay? And I think Dr. Dyer was on Netflix. And he wants to share his story. He wants to share his struggles. He wants to tell you, to inspire you to get going, right? Not the next day, today. Today is the time. Tomorrow is not guaranteed, okay? Of course, Mike to Millions is also available. This one right here is my book cover, and I'll show you what it looks like. Ta-da! This one actually went on the top new release in Amazon in 24 hours, and a number one top new release, Mike to Millions. So it's my journal slash book. And if you wanted to start podcasting, so it basically looks like this inside. It's a journal, but the most important thing is the prompt. It will help you and guide you of where to go. And you're like, CJ, what gives? Why would you have a book on there? It's because I'm having a program right now. I only have a select few to do have a free membership, but I do have a couple memberships that I'm putting it in there. And Mike to Millions, okay, will guide you. Like, for example, the first question that I have for everybody to start your podcast is this: why do you want to start a podcast? Okay, you got to tell yourself why. Because in the time of needs, in the time where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, you got to go back to what you wrote. Why do you want to start it? And it's not enough that I created a book. I also created a forum specific for my podcast circuit. The only thing we talk about there is just podcasting. And then we have our first meeting on October 7th. So hopefully I will see you there. And I'm not posting the links or anything like that. You have to be in the forum to actually be part of our podcast circuit. All right. And then, of course, Susanna and I have our, and I don't have the meme yet. I will create it, but it is Against the Grain. It's going to open up. We're going to start posting this week, if not more likely next week. Opens up for another set of authors to come and join us in our anthology. It's called Against the Grain, right? Finding belonging in the world of resistance. You know, when you're in this world right now, look around yourself. Do you feel like you belong? Like truly belong in a group where you can just take off the wall and just be you, no makeup, no nothing, hair all over the place, and not feel like you're judged? That's the belonging that you need to talk about. Do you feel like you belong to anywhere? Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there are 5, right? And number 3 is belonging. And that is what we're focusing on this anthology. We do give $3,000 scholarship. Most of the time, we hit $3,000 scholarship. We don't give you money. We basically get you into our anthology. We're doing it differently this time. Every Sunday at 7 p.m., we will pick one person to be part of our anthology for free to write. However, you cannot be a repeat scholarship person, meaning if you've already written our book and you were on scholarship, you can no longer write moving forward in our scholarship if you already done it, right? If you wanted to come in though as a repeat customer, not a scholarship, we welcome you. And if you are a previous author, it's always $100 off for you guys, right? We do the editing for you. We do everything, even the marketing. We only need you to spread the words as well and be proud of being part of that anthology. So that's what we do for our community. We don't promise anything. We always under promise and over deliver for you guys. So hopefully we will get that. Oh, speaking of that, hello.
Hello.
At least one of us is have their hair done. My hair is like poof, all over the place. I'm like, no, it's a hot day.
It's supposed to be cold here, so it's like long sleeves.
I know this one too. Look, see, I got this from TikTok Shop, so it's really good because it's flannel, but it's really long and I'm short, so it feels like a blanket when I put it together, which is great. So yes, sister, can we talk about your project, our project for
Our
Against the
project.
Grain? Yeah, talk to me about that.
It's going to be a lot of fun with this one because it's a topic that's so near and dear to my heart with belonging. I see that as it's such a centerpiece of being able to move through life and have those communities, have those groups where you can be vulnerable. Kind of like what you were saying is you can drop the masks, and the foundation of those groups is trust. Because if you don't have trust as the foundation, then you can't be vulnerable. You're not going to feel safe. And then how are you going to feel like you're belonging? You're going to spend more time trying to fit in. And when you fit in, you're really trying to be something you're not.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to this anthology, and it fits everything we've done, I think I would put it as in a book chronological order, right after Rebel.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. I mean, we talked
Rebel
about it.
first. You got to be
Yeah.
that rebel to get out, and then you can belong. And when you belong, it's how do you find that belonging? How do you how do you get that sense of belonging, whether it's an individual or whether it's a business?
Mm-hmm.
Because in both cases, if that business environment does not feel safe for somebody, how can they feel like they belong?
Yeah, that's so true.
That's that's part of writing this, is what are these stories going to be? How many different types of stories are going to pop up?
I'm actually hopeful that there's going to be a lot of really amazing stories because we're sucker for stories. Speaking of stories, today I actually, for whatever reason, Ibanghe, I know she works full time, and I don't know where Lorelai went, but I do have Nancy, and I love Nancy. She is so raw on audio rooms, and I don't remember Nancy if it was yesterday or the day before. She was so sad, and I just wanted to give her a big fat hug. um I'm a sucker for people who's like feeling down. I'm like, oh, see, this is why I have this guy. I
Uh-huh.
give him a hug, right? And I wanted to give hugs to Nancy. I don't want to cry, um because she's going through a lot of tough time, yet she shows up for people, but the people that she's showing up for doesn't show up for her. And I feel like my heart was ripped out of my rib cage, like literally. I know my rib cage is over here, but I feel like my heart has a rib cage on it. It feels like it was like when she was sharing it, and I was like, Nancy, I just want to give her a hug. So I messaged her after. I'm like, Nancy, I love you. I'm sorry you're going through this. And she's here today, so let's bring her up. Nancy,
Awesome.
you're
Hi,
on mute.
guys.
There you
Hi.
go.
Well, here. Okay, let me pull myself together here.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I just love you. I love you both. You are rock stars. And the weirdness people and all the Garden of Excellence, and what a tribe. What love we share with one another and support. And yeah, sometimes you got to get rid of some people, or they drop off, or they get pissed and they hold grudges. And boy, I try to fix that, and I'm trying not to. It's like, it's on you. I'm not mad at you, but please heal. Do what you need to. Stay away from me. This energy is bad.
Yeah, and we don't need that because we have our own issues that we deal with every day. And you're supposed to add for, the support, the love pouring into a nice cup, not more negativity, right? Like we don't need it, especially you. You have some health things that's happening. What are you doing for our community, Nancy? I want people to hear this in my network.
Oh my gosh. I'm just, I'm contributing per person, just trying to raise them up. Shanda rhymes with panda, is in Southern Illinois, and her husband was tragically killed by an idiot cousin. And so, someone like her, after the suicide of one of our members, she came into a room and said, I'm really struggling. This was about a month ago. And we all, like you, just hugged her and said, okay, I'm here. Here's my phone number. And she's going to move to Denver. I'm going to house her. She said, my pride is getting in the way. Well, we women, we take care of people. We don't like to get help. We don't like to be too vulnerable. And I'm just working with her for her to understand sometimes we have to accept help and be vulnerable and because we'll turn around and give it back 200-fold, right?
Yeah, that is so true. But that's the community, the power of community and vulnerability, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's so nice for you to have me, and I can go back to the listening area. How many people do you have here?
no, you're not going back to the listening area because you're it today. So here you are. We are live right now on YouTube. We have almost about 400 people watching us live. And
Mm.
my sister and I are here to really elevate. She's one of my ambassador for 50 Inspirational Connections. And I was so sad that I couldn't use a video of you in terms of the 50 Inspirational Connections. So I'm super glad that you're here today because even though you don't have a business that you're trying to elevate, you have a message for people out there to stay inspired. And what is that message?
Well, to stay inspired. Well, you get up in the morning, you thank God for a new day. You see the sunset, you're amazed at the colors. You go to the coast, you breathe in that sea air and your hair gets frizzy. It's all part of living an inspired life, and it's not ours to take advantage of. When I hear about suicide, it just tears me apart because it's like there's and my daughters in raising them, oh, I'm so upset about this boy. And it's like tomorrow you're going to forget his name. All right. So just go to sleep and rest, and you're going to be just fine. I hate statistics. You're going to be fine. Look at the end goal. And I think the thing that's upsetting me with 30 and 40-year-olds right now, no, 20 and 30-year-olds, is how aimless some people are. They want the quick drug dealer fix, the quick cash, none of the sacrifice. My dad was a World War II vet. My parents weren't well educated, my grandparents even less. And they just put their nose to the grindstone. You don't feel sorry for yourself. You just go day by day, and some days suck, and some days you could see progress. So I don't know how would you answer that question? What inspires what it- w- how do you spread inspiration?
Well, first, my answer would be to your question is a question. How did you feel when someone tells you, "Thank you, Nancy, for helping me"?
It's hard for me to accept it. It's really hard. There, I got to tell her I'll call you back.
Yeah,
Um, it's hard. Because it's like, yeah, well, you're welcome, but this is what we're supposed to do to fellow human beings, okay? But this wanderlust of, and sorry, 20 and 30-year-olds out there, I know I was trying to find myself. I hated each of my jobs, but you have to understand at a certain point, at 63, you look back and you say, well, that's how I developed my HR skills. That's how I developed my banking skills. So I'm trying to figure out HR consulting, financial consulting, investing. I got a lot to try to journal and figure out where I can make a mark business wise. How
that's
long have you two been working together?
yeah, that's good. Now, sister, how do you stay inspired and how do you give inspiration? Because I'm going to answer that. How about you, sis? We have 665 people now.
How do you get inspired? A lot of it is being able to do the things that speak to you, that speak to, for me, it's what speaks to my core. Doing those is where I find enjoyment, where I have the most fun doing things. And then, I mean, this past year has just been, it's been a year of growth in many ways. But that's also, I can look right at the reason for a lot of that. Yes, and you can laugh at that too.
Nancy, this is the reason why I asked her first, is because of people like my sister who tells me thank you, right? You're my inspiration. These are the things that I live for, to get inspired, to get up in the morning when I don't want to do something when I don't feel like it, right? To stay inspired, you have to look at the people that gives you inspiration of why you're doing it in the first place, right? And again, we're not for everybody, but we hope that somebody, even one person, gets affected by what you're doing so that they too can provide other inspirational things within themselves for others, right? It's not like you're going to get inspiration from me at 100%. You're going to get probably one thing I do for you that's inspiration, but that one thing gives you the ability to keep going. Then you keep going for other people, then other people keep going, right? So it's that ripple effect that we're looking for in this world. But there's so many noise and there's so many negative people. And it's funny that you said, 20s and 30s, because in high school, I came in here, didn't know how to speak English, but I graduated in junior year. I wanted to go to college, so I did in my senior year while I was going to my senior year, because to go to get a bachelor's, you need 4 years of this and 4 years of English and math. I'm like, fine, I'm good at math. I was in business statistics already at senior year. Then after that, I went to college and I doubled major. Most people will have 12 units. I had 24. What did I get from that? A bleeding ulcer. That's what I get from that, right? It's just when I was in my 20s, I was hustling. And when I got my doctorate at 32, I was sad that I got it super old. I wanted it at 30, right? So all of the goals that you have to get inspired is different for everybody. But what are you doing right now? I know you're going through your health issues right now, Nancy. What are some of the things that you can provide people while they're still here, living and breathing?
Well, get your screening. Poop in the box, get your boobs squeezed, get the awful prostate exam, because these early detections will save your life. Next, you have to engage with your healthcare providers, your insurance companies, big pharma. Demand you get what you need and what's going to keep you thriving in longevity, not just drugged out. Um, that's my answer. I mean, screening is everything. I want to ask you a question as spiritualists. I heard that there's, and maybe you told me this, Doctor, that there's a disruption in the universe, in the stars right now. Like there's chaos. And I'm seeing it politically, I'm seeing it economically, I'm seeing it personally. Have you experienced that as well?
Yeah, it's everywhere. That's why the stronger the belonging within your group, the better you are. Because there's just so many noise, it's overwhelming. Even the talk of AI is overwhelming. At least someone likened me to an AI yesterday in the audio. Dr. Leland is, I think, an AI. No, Susanna met me. What are you talking about? Sandra
Why?
Gonzalez made me. Like, what the heck? But what you see here on TV and live, that's what you see. What do you think, sister?
Oh, that is definitely what you see. The first time we met in the San Diego airport, it's like you were exactly what I was expecting. I didn't. You're like, I'm going to be shorter than you expect. Well, actually, you're not as short as you think you are because there's so much to you that it all carries. But when we met that first time, it was no different than all the times that we had talked like this.
Yeah, live stream, Zoom. I think sometimes I get disappointed because when I feel like people are so good in lives and things like that, right? You vibe, there's energy, there's what, and then you meet them in person. I'm like, wait, that was it? How deflating. How deflating. I can't. But my personality is definitely bigger than a 7 foot tall man. I am loud. I will scream in front of public. We find you to find you. That's what I do with my kids. If I feel like they're lost, I'm like, Susanna, and everyone's looking, and I didn't care because I saw Susanna. Like, oh my god, this is so exciting. Um,
I
because
do
you
the same thing. I
right?
when I'm, at a mall or something with my daughters, it's woo, woo, and people stare at me, and it's a blast.
Yeah.
There was a meme on Instagram, like, and this is what I do when my kids tell me, "Don't embarrass me, mom." And you're doing this dance, and you're
TikTok.
calling them my homies and stuff like that. It's like, just love it.
I love it. I know my kids too. Bella, when she went, because my oldest is gone now, but she went to work in Northern California, and so I can't embarrass her as much. But she tries to embarrass me, and it just bounced back to her. Like my youngest, when she like is with her friends, but I have a timeline. Like you need to be here at this specific time. But if she doesn't show up, I would be outside in the garage of the parents' house Bella, like screaming like a freaking nut job. And she's like, oh my God, let me get out of here. My mom's embarrassing the whole neighborhood. So she knows now that when I tell you 10 o'clock, you need to get out at 10 o'clock or your mom's going to start screaming, right? Like a nut job. So she does. And it actually trains them, A, because they don't want to be embarrassed, but it trains them that I'm serious. When I say something I'm going to do, I'm going to blast you, right? And so I love that. Now, Nancy, what are some of your tips for people who are going through health issues right now? And when they are down, life is just pushing them down, right? I
Well,
see you very resilient.
like you and I talked earlier pre-show, a good cry never hurts. That guttural, animalistic, like your body hurts, your eyes are swollen, like mine are today. It's so important to let it go. but then also don't wallow in it too long, because what's going to happen is you're just going to stare at your navel and feel sorry for yourself. So, and that was my grandparents taught me that. It's like, stop staring at your navel, get outside and play, all right? Or get your nose out of your books, Nancy, because I was a real quiet kid. Um, I'm actually quite introverted. I gained my strength. Susan Cain, Cain, lives in Vermont, and she's written a number of books about quietude and introvert versus extrovert. Somebody like my daughter who lives in Brooklyn, works in Manhattan, loves noise, loves people, loves her sorority sisters. Me, no, no, no. I gained my strength in being in Sonoma by myself in a hotel room with nothing but my besties right here with me. But it's each, so your find your strength in spiritual healing, in groups like this, in confessing your sins, confessing that you're hurt. Somebody had just posted, if you're feeling down, reach out to someone else and be available as a friend. When certain friends call up, I pick up right away. It's not a matter of gossiping. It's not like my younger sister who's, anyway. I'm working on that. But some people, you look at their names and it's like, okay, I'm busy right now, but then they call again and you're like, okay, something's up. And it might be good news, it might be bad news, it might just be shooting the shit. So I really think spiritually, physically, get out there and work out, get out there on the treadmill, take a long walk with the dog. Again, nature is healing. That's why I live in Denver. That's why I go to the mountains and I ski and I hike and I go to the Tetons. And yeah, I'm a woman of leisure, so I can do that. But the time will come for each of you and you've got weekends or evenings, or maybe you do a graveyard. Go for a walk in the mountains, in the hills. All of us, even in big cities, there's joy in going to sit at the Starbucks or some boulangerie in Paris.
Yeah, I'd be like, bonjour, would you like some chocolates? That would be me. Or I would basically go to Italy like, buongiorno, buen pomeriggio. Or the Philippines, kumusta ka?
Oh, there you go. Oh, I want to
Right?
go to the
Like,
Philippines.
yeah,
We got to do a tour of the Philippines led by Dr. Leland.
that's right. We got to bring it to the house. You might not want to come back, though, if I do the tour.
Yeah, you're right.
You might not want to come back because I want a massage. I want a margarita on the beach while I'm getting a massage and serenaded at the same time. Like, that's what I want.
Well, and the other thing I have to add, just my last point, is don't ignore your sexuality, regardless of your age. You don't have to be out there every night with someone else, but it's such a part of the human experience. And I do think that that's kind of helped me heal, because it can take me away from my physical aches and pains, which I'm not in anymore, but it can take you away, and you're taking care of someone else. Again, we're women, the men in the group that are warriors, you take care of us. You wrap us in your arms. I feel so good when just a simple hug, or you're watching TV with someone. And that's the only problem with being alone and single, is I do miss just the leisurely binge weekends where you're eating popcorn, you're drinking wine.
Right there. She's living alone. Susanna, too, right? Susanna,
We
too.
could
She could relate. She could
Let's
relate to
watch Pride and Prejudice. I can recite every word with Keira Knightley. And we'll just drink and cry and wish we were with that man.
Oh my gosh. Well, you said something about like chaos and friendship, and I want to talk to you about that. Talk to everybody who's here actually. That chaos and friendship can sometimes feel intertwined, right? And it's almost always, but it really gives you and takes you back to this unpredictable nature of relationships. One day you're good, one day you're not, right? And I think we take our friendships sometimes for granted that they're just always going to be there. But chaos can take in many forms, right? There's challenges, there's communications, there's agreements, there's whirlwind of emotions, and it comes close to the bond when you actually communicate better and you actually pick up the phone and not just text on those disagreements. And true friendship really tested is through strength, right? Friends help us navigate our disorder conduct, our nonsense, our loneliness, right?
Mhm.
It actually builds trust and understanding when the support is there constantly. Like Susanna and I, she texts. There's certain things that when she texts, I know she's not okay, even though she says she's okay. And that's when I said, go to Zoom right now. Zoom, because I have a direct link to everybody. It's just a matter of if I let you in or not. But like it's out there publicly. Luabydoc.com is my Zoom. But if you try to come in and you're not on my calendar, you aren't coming in. I'm just saying, right? I put it out there because sometimes I'm just kind of always on Zoom. Like I'm always on if I'm not lecturing, because I do lecture 6.5 hours a day. Um, go in there. But if I feel like something's off, you know your friends, you can call. The only thing I don't like about certain friendship is the fakeness, um taking your resources to the ground, taking it all in, creating that they think they can be you, and then poof, gone. How do you handle those, Nancy? I know you've been through that.
I rate my friends in 3 categories, and believe me, the circle has gotten very small. Um, One is the friends who you can call on whenever, immediately. They pick up the phone. The other ones are you don't see them very often, but when you do, you just click again. It's like you never lost touch. But the third kind is okay. I'll change the names to protect the innocents. My old neighbors Tim and Brandy, not real names, but they were the kind of friends who my ex-husband Chris and I would plan to go to a play together in downtown Seattle. And last minute, they'd be like, "Oh, something's come up. So sorry." They don't reschedule. So Chris and I were getting so angry, but we were more angry at our own reactions. And we realized we're taking this on when they're not bothered at all by this. So why don't we turn it around and make it that they just come over for pizza and watching the Seahawks game, one Sunday morning, and make it last minute and nobody stresses. They knew we were pissed, but they didn't want to change their behavior. They were always looking for something better. Chris and Nancy weren't the cool kids. We weren't at the cool kid table. We were at the band table. Nothing against the band table. I was in the orchestra, so I know every musical. I'm such a geek. If anybody wants to sing musicals with me, I challenge you.
Let's do this. Not a challenge, a collaboration. Go, Nancy. Sister, what are your thoughts on what Nancy said?
The different groups. I like how she laid that out, because there are those who you haven't seen in a while, and then it's like you can pick up and just keep going.
Right.
But yeah, on some of the stuff, I'm still on that so quiet side that it's just been me for like 4 years.
Oh,
Almost.
congratulations. That's awesome.
Well,
I love our life.
It's a yes and no thing, because it's been once the pandemic started, it was total solitary. Yeah, I wasn't even talking with family. It's like I wouldn't call somebody because I didn't want to bother them because everything that's going on. So I'm not checking in on anybody, and since nobody checks in on me, then I figure I didn't matter anyway. And it had its own issues, but then going through time, things improved.
Talk about disruptive time. Good Lord.
Yeah.
That was just crazy talk. People in Denver already drink, but let's bring on the delivery services now and no work. I was studying for the LSAT, the law school exam, and I'm in the middle of the test, and it had to be virtual. So they made me film the room to make sure there were no cheat notes, and they made me put my phone away or put it in the other room. I couldn't have anybody in the apartment because they didn't want somebody whispering, in my eye. I'm sure there's ways you can figure out how to cheat. I'm sure. But all of a sudden, there's this roar downstairs. I was downtown Denver on the 16th floor, and I thought, okay, this is really the end of the world. Oh my God. But then, horns are beeping. Biden got elected over Trump. And so this is 2020. And that just was crazy. And then, here I am. I have cancer. I'm traveling. I'm with people, nose to nose, shoulder to shoulder. They don't even want me to wear a mask. They said they're stupid. Isn't that wild where we've come from?
Yeah, it is kind of wild. That's one thing I love about people like us who have values and morals that we live by on a daily. It doesn't mean that we're staunch. It doesn't mean that we're weak, or it doesn't mean that we're snob. It just means that we have lived lives where we've already been tested, and we've already tested those people, and we no longer accept them. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can love people from afar. I want to go back to the 50 inspirational since we are going to be ending. Um, what meaningful connections have you built on LinkedIn? And what are some of the things that you can tell people what to look for to stay away from crazy? We're going to start with Susanna. What are some of your tips, sister?
Oh, wow. In terms of tips, you got to see what they're posting. You got to see what they're saying. See them on lives and in audio rooms to get a feel for they are before you start engaging, because the magic for LinkedIn happens in the comments. When people start commenting on your stuff and you create engagement that way with somebody. You're seeing their posts, you're aligning with it, you're making comments, you're having a real conversation in the comments, post after post, and then you can have a talk with them in person, and then just still don't drop your guards right away, because everybody's wearing masks at that point still. You have to really have that gut feeling that this is the time to drop the mask. And even then, when I do it, it's very slowly.
Nancy, what about you? What's your tips on making sure not only you're staying inspired, but be inspirational, but what to watch out for when it comes to LinkedIn friends?
I was on LinkedIn because I was working for a cannabis law firm. Of course, there is a cannabis law firm in Denver. And one of my attorneys wanted me to update his LinkedIn. And of course, the analytics are such, as you all know, that if you don't push out links and posts of your own, not just reposts, you're not going to have any visibility. Nobody can see you. Back in the day when I was in Seattle and Facebook was kind of brand new, you would post something and it'd be at the top of everybody's feed that you followed, that you were friends with. And now, unless you pay for the boosts and all this crap, which I got involved in because I had a nonprofit for kids, it increased the visibility, but as far as engagement, it didn't really change things. People like, oh, I'm going to come to that event. No show. So my advice is, for one thing, post a picture of yourself in your LinkedIn. On my Facebook and Instagram, these are just photographs. But on LinkedIn, it's a professional site. We want to see your face. We're not profiling you per se, but you want to see if the carpet matches the drapes, And so, and lastly, I guess you start reaching out. A friend of mine said you share way too much of yourself when you first meet someone. And he said the best thing to do is to start talking about them. Tell me more about you. And if you're not really interested, don't even fake it, because we can read that a mile away. But if you truly are interested, poke the bear a little bit. Find out, I'm not interested, but are you married? Do you have kids? What's your situation? These are the things that now build trust. And then you get to a point where, okay, I'm going to share my phone number. I don't have my phone number on my LinkedIn anywhere. You could public search for me and find out exactly where I live in Denver. Don't. I have Mace. I will use it. It's you have to be careful with how much you share. And then as you build up that trust, then business collaborations. I mean, Lance Bennett is a perfect example. We were watching each other on these live shows. He would participate. He's wickedly funny, and he's a consultant. So pretty soon he's working for me, helping me on a couple. Same thing with Keith
Cooperman?
Cooperman. Thank you. And just fantastic people who give of themselves. Don't charge enough in the whole bit. I don't know where they find time in the day, because they're always on LinkedIn or always a phone call ready to be picked up. So, and what about you, Dr. Leland?
Okay, I have a lot of tips. The first thing is yes. Please stop complaining about my calendar. It's now open on March 2025. I know I'm busy, okay? But here's the thing. I value my time. So if you really want to talk to me, and you will find enough about me all over the internet, guys. I'm not hiding nothing. It's all over the internet. Literally almost 2,000 links about me. So here's the thing. If you read something about me and you still feel uneasy about it, then go ask other people. Because if you're going to ask somebody that you're looking for, of course they're going to say I'm the best since sliced bread came out. The best way to really look for people that you like to follow, and also like they say what they say, is ask the people that they surround themselves with. How is CJ really? Is she like this? Like, oh, or is she like this, right? Don't ask the people. They're gonna tell you, yeah, I'm best. I'm blah blah blah. No. Ask the people around them. That's my step number one. Step number two is look at their progress. What are they doing? What are they talking about? Are they just always in business? On and it's all about personal branding, right? When you're on LinkedIn, please don't ask me if I'm this, I'm that. Everyone knows I'm married for 21 years. Don't be asking me, don't be DMing me inappropriate things. I will report you. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. I will report you. I don't mince words. I'm married. Stop, right? Don't go there. It's just there. The third thing is I'm not here to date nobody. I'm not here to do anything but business. I want to help you get the strategy that you need. If you need just personal conversation and things like that, there are so many people out there who does that. My circle of friends is literally small. I have a core inner circle, I have an outer circle, and I have a third circle, and then the rest of everybody else, right? Because these people who earn my trust truly because they've been tested time and time again. And yes, I do. I have a strategy on everything that I do. It's because I want to make sure that if I give you my time, my life, my time, that you're worthy of it. I have enough people that are hyenas who takes resources and like, yeah, Dr. Leland, you're the best. And then the other hand is on the cookie jar stealing my stuff. I see you. So if you see me distance myself, it's because you did something that I didn't like. And if I matter to you, you'd find out. If I don't matter to you, you stay away. That's it, right? The third thing on LinkedIn, this is a professional platform. Please be professional in your conversations, whether it's DM or it's WhatsApp. If you know somebody that's already on LinkedIn, keep that professional, okay? The fourth thing I say is there's so many anthologies out there. There's so many coaches out there. Do your due diligence of the people who's leading it. Do they have your best interest? What are some of the things that, do me a favor, list three things that you like about them as a person, three things that they have done for other people that other people talk about. The other three things is look them up on Google and follow at least three videos. If you actually 100% your heart and your gut tells you this is what I want to belong, because you surround yourself with people that you get judged all the time. Whoever you're surrounding yourself with, people were either 50% be in it or 50% out of it. So if you're here in business for LinkedIn, if you surround yourself with hyenas, no one's going to engage with you other than, haha, you're so good, you're so great. Yeah, that doesn't pay bills, does it? Being nice doesn't pay bills. Being a doer pays bills. So I do not want to surround myself with talkers. I want to surround myself with people who are doing something about themselves for other people. I also don't like people who coach other people in attitude that has an attitude or talks about bullying or talks about, being caring or loving, but does the opposite of what they say. I also see you, right? So that's my tips. I told you I have a lot of tips. So for me, friendship is all about trust. And how do you build trust? By consistently communicating with respect. You can disagree with me all day long. I love disagreement, but there's a threshold. When you go above that threshold, now you're disrespectful. I will call you out on it publicly too. So yes, that's my tip. Any comments? You're on mute, Nancy. Here. Unmute.
There's a guy who I dated for 5 years in Denver, a narcissist, but we're friends now, and he's dating someone else. I so much want to call that girl. I don't know who she is, but I want to call her and I want to gossip about him so bad. So anyway, he and his family have such the opposite of my shut up, don't disagree, don't argue, don't, just shut up and let's hold grudges against each other and resentments and throw it out, 20 years from now. My mom on her deathbed is still like resentful about me leaving the house at 18. So he and his family, every Thanksgiving, every Christmas would be this major fight because Jameson and other liquor were in the house. But I would watch this transpire. Dan, we'll call him, against his mom and stepdad, or his dad and stepmom. And there would be this poke the bear, poke back, ready for fisticuffs. And I mean, these are hot-headed Scottish, Irish, Catholic, like drinking, partying. They love hard, they hate hard, and they forgive quickly. So I would watch this cycle and it just became this psychological study, because then there was okay, everybody to their room. I'm crying as the middle child. Please, mom and dad, get along. And then what happens is okay, what are we going to do now? Are you going to leave and head back to Denver? You going to go home now? Or are we going to talk about what just happened and why I said what I did? Oh my God, how cathartic is that? You're not waiting for the morning. In the Bible, it says don't sleep on those things. Resolve them now. So, I mean, I'm religious, I'm spiritual, but there's great wisdom in our holy books. When all else fails, go back to the Psalms, and you won't feel suffering anymore because you'll read about what happened then. So, I guess what I'm saying is resist the urge to hold that grudge, resist that urge to resent and then shut up and withdraw, and instead grow into the liberation of honesty without, like you said, hurting feelings or becoming vulgar. We don't need to go there.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Here's another thing too that I've learned, Nancy. There's so many of my friends right now that I would love to tell them and gossip about this person to stay away from. But what I've learned is that when you tell on people and you warn them and you talk about bad about somebody else, it makes that person you're trying to help think about, if CJ is talking about this A person in front of me, what makes me think that CJ wouldn't be talking about me to person B? Right? So I don't do that for that reason. For me, it's for you to experience what I have experienced, because my experience with Susanna might be different with your experience with Susanna. There's no control. It just depends on how you guys click. But here's one thing you have to remember is that I also realize that people's character do not change. You can put some jewelry on that pig, some pink lipstick and glitter on that pig, some wig on that pig, some beautiful dress. It's still a pig. Okay, so that's what I realize. I have to let it play on. They will see through the people that I'm staying away from. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but you will someday soon, because their character will not change. They are who they are. They will never change. But it is not up to me to babysit you and your journey for this person. I do want to end, since you said Bible, I do want to end with the verse of the day. If you guys look at your Bible verse, it says Matthew 5:10. This is in New Testament. It says, "Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." So you can prosecute me all day long. My heart belongs to God. My actions belongs to God. I don't know who your God is, and it's okay to have different gods, by the way, right? Hindu for India, Buddhism for my mom, Catholic for my Virgin Mary. I know Hail Mary and Our Fathers, believe me, I had none for teachers, but I'm a born again Christian, and I will stay non-denominational. Thank you. I'm comfortable where I'm at, but I that doesn't mean I don't believe in other things. That doesn't mean I don't believe in other things. I do, but it only serves me to have happiness and peace. That's my goal every day: happiness and peace, and that's it. Now, if you don't make me happy and you don't give me peace, you're gone. I don't need no wrinkles on my 60s. When I turn 50 something and then I'm saying, I don't need no wrinkles from you. No.
Yeah, because that's what the facelift was about, you know?
I'm scared of facelifts. Like my grandma did it. I don't even have Botox because I'm so
No,
scared.
you look, don't even go near it, Dr.
I
Leland. You are
I
perfection.
okay, the day that I have to get Botox some of these days, I'm gonna need someone's hand to hold because I faint when I see injections. I can't do it. Oh my gosh. Sister Susanna, let's end this. What is your thoughts, takeaways for today?
Oh, there's so much here. Yeah, I cast the pig with lipstick. Um, it's like you ran with that image at the end, but you're right. When it comes to people, as much as we might want to warn somebody about them, that's also just our experience. And how they get along with somebody may be totally different than how we get along. And that's fine. That they be them, we be we, and if that means we go separate paths, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's life.
Yep. How about you, Nancy? How would you like to end today?
Just love each other. Be gentle. Hug often. Kiss often. And pick up the phone when I call.
I ain't picking you up at 11. Between 11 to 6, I ain't picking up no phone calls unless you're dying and you need me. But other than that, I ain't picking up your call at 11. So sometimes I do sleep at 2, grading. Okay, maybe during that time I might pick up your call because Monday is hell day for me. I usually sleep at 1 a.m. But lately it's been like that because just a lot programs and things like that. But don't think I don't have fun. People are like, CJ, you don't have fun. I'm like, dude, I watched this movie, I watched this movie, I watched this movie, I went to my girlfriend, I did some yoga, I did some facial. They're like, how do you have time? I'm like, remember, I'm AI. Remember that. Oh my gosh. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh.
We're still ending with almost 800 people. So we appreciate you. Matt, we appreciate you. Homer, thank you for being here. Hounds of Business was here. Ollie was here. iCast is here. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate you. We love you. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Leo will be tomorrow.
Oh,
Bye.